Hello and welcome to ENCORE. Today we're taking you on a culinary tour as French cuisine is celebrated internationally in the Good France event. The project involves over 1,000 chefs who are bringing a French gastronomic touch to their menus on March 19th. Restaurants around the world will be offering a full French menu, giving diners a taste of the crème de la crème of the country's produce, flavours and expertise. One of the people behind Good France is Alain Ducasse. The world-renowned chef and restaurant owner has been a lifelong cheerleader of the French approach to cooking and, above all, to eating. With multiple Michelin stars under his belt, Ducasse has been instrumental in devising this event with the French Tourist Board and diplomatic representatives. France 24's Axel Simon went to speak to him about his role as an ambassador for France's culinary arts.
Hello, Alain Ducasse.
Hello.
Thank you for having us here at the Plaza Athénée, a first-class address for French gastronomy. Good France is an experience, it's also a concept. What was your goal for this event?
It's about showing that only French cuisine is able to bring together a network of 1,300 restaurants in more than 150 countries, which are all linked to French cuisine's well-established essence and DNA. It's a group of colleagues across the world who decided to offer a French meal with French wines, with aperitifs like champagne and cognac, but also French cheese, etc. It's about demonstrating that we have an influential role, which has only just begun and which is only continuing to grow.
This event has really stirred up a lot of enthusiasm. What does that reveal about French gastronomy?
The DNA of French cuisine is a DNA that's universal. It allows expression. It's a bit like music and musical theory. When you master the theory, you can do any kind of music. And when you master the DNA of French cuisine, you can create any kind of cuisine. I was in Japan last week, and Chef Murata, for instance, he will create the best French cuisine he can because he looks to our country. He's attached to French cuisine, so he'll take great care about it. But it's about more than what he's making. It's about the attachment he has to our country and what our country produces. By that I mean excellent dishes, preparation, in harmony with wines. And that's very unique because we are one of the only cultures in the world so attached to the harmony between food and wine, and of course, all that has an effect on our country's economy.
Since 2010, French gastronomy has been registered as a World Intangible Heritage.
There's a risk there of turning it into a museum, and it really should stimulate and spread French cuisine even more.
And how would you explain the appetite for good food, for high-class cuisine today?
You know, today going to a restaurant is a leisure activity. Getting together at a restaurant is a social statement. It's not the same as being behind a computer screen and communicating via email. So I think getting together around a table, having different and varied people, inviting friends and showing them a restaurant that offers the very essence of French cuisine, that's an act of sharing, of civilization. One of the most civilized places in the world today is still the table. Any disagreements that could occur at the start of lunch disappear during lunch or dinner because the conversation and the joy of sharing food and wine mean that any problems that could exist at the start of the meal no longer exist by the end.
Alain Ducasse, you are a major figure in French gastronomy today. What's your approach to cuisine?
First, it's about having excellent ingredients, paying attention to where ingredients come from and seasons. Clearly, today attention is paid to making food that's less fatty, less salty, less sugary, which is more local, seasonal and uses less protein. That's the direction French cuisine is taking and should take. And in this way, it should influence the world in terms of being a cuisine that respects the environment, because we must start consuming differently. French cuisine could be the leader in carrying this message.
You've created what we could call a vast Ducasse brigade.
A network.
Do you think passing down knowledge is the secret?
It's not the secret, but a daily obsession. Transferring knowledge, sharing, teaching, producing, creating schools. We teach in Canada, Latin America, the Philippines, and of course in France. We teach everywhere, and that's how we become influential, by sharing knowledge everywhere in the world, every day.
You talk about motivation. What makes you want to cover the globe today?
In this globalized world, the value I defend is difference. Each and every one of us has to cultivate what makes us different, which doesn't necessarily stop us from looking at what else is happening in the world. Having a global vision doesn't prevent us from having a local vision. And this is why I'm a local chef.
And Alain Ducasse will be hosting a special dinner at the Palace of Versailles, accompanied by French Foreign Minister Laurent Fabius, to kick off the event here in Paris. Staying in the French capital, some of the biggest names in the restaurant business will be taking part elsewhere. Guy Savoy, Joël Robuchon and Thierry Marx will be putting on a special menu for the evening. And another hot table will be at the Prince de Galles restaurant. Head chef Stéphanie Lequelec says it's attention to detail and a passion for produce that's earned her place at the head of the kitchen. Let's hear from her.
I'm very rigorous in life. I'm rigorous with myself, so I embrace this profession. I like the rigor because it's necessary to deliver excellence. I don't think there's such a thing as women's cooking. It's a matter of different sensitivities. Cooking is about emotion. There are very few women chefs, even though it's better these days. I have a few female friends who are chefs today like me. It was much rarer when I started, and I started nearly 20 years ago. It's physical, it's hard, it's military, it's rigorous. When a woman aspires to this profession, she has to be able to endure as much as a man, and I defy anyone to say if the dish they're tasting has been cooked by a man or a woman. I started with the classics. My vision of cooking is very simple. I'm not going to use 50 ingredients. I choose one very good ingredient and put one or two other things with it as support. You always know what you're eating here. Simple cooking is cooking where when you sit down to eat, you don't need to analyze the dish. When I go to a restaurant, I don't want to have to work hard. A great cook disappears behind great produce. That's how you create emotion. You can't be selfish. I'm there to bring pleasure.
Long considered to be an everyday pleasure for the French and an occasional delicacy for millions of tourists, French cuisine is now a UNESCO-recognised part of the country's cultural heritage. But long before the UN gave it the stamp of approval, chefs from around the world were already looking to France for inspiration and expertise. One of them is Hemant Oberoi, head chef at the Taj Mahal Palace in Mumbai.
Mumbai city being very cosmopolitan, people love to eat out, they love the French food, they have traveled well, they have received it very well. French cuisine is perceived very well in our country, and especially in the city of Mumbai, where 45 years back we had a French restaurant called Rendezvous. French chefs, I have learned a lot of things from them because the patience, the passion, the methodology, everything has been great about them. And they teach you the basics so well. My customer expectations are that my food should be as good as what they eat in Paris. The that my roast should be as good as, my souffle should be as good as what they get, and my food should be equivalent to all the Michelin stars. If you see, the French cuisine influences our culture and country in a very different way. Our country is about 40 to 45% of the people are vegetarians, and we have to convert the French cuisine equivalent in vegetarian cuisine, which is a challenge, and we've been able to do it very, very successfully.
From Paris to Mumbai, Shanghai, Sao Paulo and Casablanca, it just goes to show that food can sometimes be the best ambassador. The Good France event will be taking place around the world on March 19th. We'll leave you now with a little digestif, a showcase of some of the extraordinarily delicate desserts France is famed for. Remember, you can get more culture news on our website, and we're also on Facebook and Twitter. There's more news coming up on France 24 after this.